I would like to call the leader of opposition, Mr. Ferry.
What is the stance that opening opposition envision in this debate? Opening oppositions prefer a world where as citizens, the only calculus to choose our political leaders or candidates should be based on the exclusivity of their policy and how that policy is effective in response to the current urgency that these particular states experience, ladies and gentlemen. We prefer a world that, number one, the political discourse is centralized on the issue of political draft and policy draft and also practical explanation on it, public debate for the candidates to expose and open up their policy, vision and missions as a means of problem solving that these particular countries are currently experiencing. We hate the world where the basis of our assessment toward our political leader based on the pragmatic image that they show to us, like nice speech, showing off respect and tolerance in front of public and showing off the honesty in order to catch the eye of what our people should perceive as, ladies and gentlemen. So this is important to know that this debate should be assessed based on two metrics. Number one, which side create a better and meaningful democracy practices, and secondly, which side create a better political education and also participations as opening government want to envision in this debate. But before that, 2 points of rebuttals addressed to Prime Minister cases. Prime Minister say to you that meaningful policy relies on political characters. That is good. They regret things like Trump's policy on Muslim ban and etc. We think that if this policy is also justified on the ground of morality, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that so? Because this policy may have the moral calculus behind that. Things like self-survivability of the state in order for the national defense and even security, for instance. Maybe the policy that is made by political characters on, for example, on the idea of border, they open the free flow, may not necessarily morally true under the side of the house, but it's a populist image anyway, right? So we think that the policy is the utmost important things to be assessed. But secondly, they say to you that it is bad, it's create a polarization. We think that this is less likely to happen because policy that is proposed by these candidates are diverse anyway, meaning that people can opt in into the more suitable policy that is being offered by thousands of politicians that exist in the current momentum. But even if that particular polarization does really happen, we think that it's normal thing in the democratic practices. Your parliament also consists of those politicians that is divided and polarized into two, like government and opposition, and we don't think that is a problem, right? So I'm going to prove two things in the speech. Why prioritizing complete focus on policy rather than political character is an incentive for better, meaningful democracy practices. We have to understand, sit down please, we have to understand the parameter of good and meaningful democracy practices are two. Number one, it should be operated under the objective and informed choice and also the degree of accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about the first parameter, which is the objective and informed choice. We have to understand that good and meaningful democracy practices, which is prioritizing the ability for each citizen to take a stance based on objective and informed choice and assessments in its practical things like elections, for example. Using the policy that this candidate produced as the basis to assess and choose serve the prerequisite of meaningful democratic practices. Because when we choose through thorough analysis of their future projections of policy, it is going to expose things like news, policy, analysis, talk show, interview, and also public discussions in regards towards that particular policy. Why this is so important? It is so important in order for us to make sure that these individuals are having the multidimensional perspective in terms of assessing the diverse policy that they, in the 5 years, will be led into, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to create the incentive for objective and informed choice because of the fact that what we have is only the values, only focusing on the idea of future policy, like this particular politicians will create. Sit down, please. Comparatively, under OG world, it is going to be worse and create less meaningful democracy. Why? People use the good political characters is correlated with the image, behavior, and politeness or psychology wise. We think that is bad because it's highly manipulative under status quo. They are going to populishing their looks and behavior in front of the society eyes by, for example, making up their image as they want by paying media or etc. Moreover, the definitions of good character within society sometimes also diverse and also different. Maybe the interpretations of good political characters is people that have the strict ability to maintain or to lead the country or one that is flexible. So it is resulted into subjective practices of democracy without further questioning, without further analyzing. So we regret that. But second parameter on the idea of accountability. Before that, then.
The burden on opposition is to prove what if you have a good policy on your side of the house, but less capable and less credible leaders, why is it still good on your side?
We think that the credibility of policy is not being determined by who you are and how you behave, ladies and gentlemen. It is being judged by the fact that this policy is responding to directly problems in the very first place. So there is no correlation. That's your burden to explain. Second parameter of the meaningful democracy that we envision on opening oppositions is the idea of accountability, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that under our side, politicians should be able to create a comprehensive and feasible policy in response to the state's urgency, it's add more accountability to its practices. Because the moment when they are elected, people are already have a concrete and valid project that these politicians will do in the future. It's going to create them as a subject of valid scrutiny and criticize that is being proved by the valid and also concrete proof, which is your policy draft that you promote in the debate in the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to create even more accountability. Now comparatively under your side of the house, maybe scrutiny are not going to be that powerful and that logical because maybe when you behave like, not really respecting by insulting others, people, the policy that is being made by this individual, when you scrutiny them, is going to be only focusing on these personal traits, not the policy in itself. So under their side of the house, the practice of democracy is going to be less meaningful, ladies and gentlemen. So we think that under our side, this is going to create a full comprehensive understanding to what will happen to them in the next 5 years. It is important because these citizens are the one that is directly inflicted by the harms that may be created during your presidency, for instance. So we think that the accountability is better under our side of the house. But second thing is regarding which side create a good political education. We have to establish what is good political education in the very first place. It should be critical, questioning, and also analyzing the issue, ladies and gentlemen. The exposure of policy that is very reasonable and exposure to the discourse and debate is going to serve that functions to educate society, because society are going to be able to be, given diverse practical benefit of one policy and others policy and compare it. They are starting to criticize and questions and also analyze it. We think that the subjective parameters of what good political characters or traits is something that is undebatable because you cannot prove which one is good and which one is bad because it's going to be self-defined anyway. But even if it is going to be arbitrary, agreed is good, we think that is less